I think just like creating a lot less friction, I think a lot of businesses, a lot of e-commerce stores, they overcomplicate it because they have one, so many options, and then two, they try to do so many upsells and downsells, and they just overcomplicate the process. So the biggest thing I think is just the simplicity of it. Like you have a simple checkout, you have your testimonials, you have your reviews, you have your security patterns, and that alone now is going to let people feel comfortable now using their autofill now to just fill out, because now everybody has it on their phones now for autofill now, so just making that process a lot smoother and a lot easier for the customer at the end of the day. I think that is the biggest thing that is from having a profitable store from a non-profitable store, that process right there at the end.
The Move Entrepreneur Evolved Podcast. Get on it.
All right, we made it to a next episode of Entrepreneur Evolved, brought to you by Moved. And this is Kevin Joseph out of Texas. You were in Austin, or you're now in Austin, but you were in Houston, and you help e-commerce brands that don't really have a marketing department scale and grow. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Jason, my God, thank you for having me on the show. And I'm super excited, dude. I like the way that we were talking about this, just through Facebook Messenger. I was like, dude, this is going to be a bomb ass episode, man. So I had to jump on, man. So thank you for having me on.
Cool. So I'm going to jump right into a statement that you had actually posted not very long ago. And it really wasn't yours, but I think that you really highlighted it for a reason, because I think you resonated it. And I think I'm going to share it with you, and maybe I can get some, feedback from you. So the guy said, being held accountable may feel like an attack if you're not ready to acknowledge how your poor decisions impact others. And I thought I'd just get some feedback on what that maybe means to you and why maybe that resonated with you.
I think you should say that like one more time.
All right, here we go. Let's ride.
That's how good it is. Let's say it one more time.
Being held accountable may feel like an attack if you're not ready to acknowledge how your poor decisions impact others.
Yeah. Dude, I think my biggest philosophy of life is really just self-awareness. And it's what I think is I feel like that's my superpower of how my actions affect others. And I think if you don't focus on that, then now you become narcissistic because you are not thinking about others. And so now when I tell you about how something's going, instead of thinking it's about me, you're thinking it's about you. And so now the issue is not being resolved. You now have made this about yourself, and now you have took this into an attack of like, why are you attacking me? But in reality, it's more so we're just trying to make the situation better for everyone, And so, yeah.
And in this space, as you help others in e-commerce, e-commerce is quite a business that's kind of quiet in the background. It's not like coaching, right? It's not, it's the production of products. It's not a lot of relationships. And in that, I think what you even probably highlighted this, and I agree, is that when somebody actually says, will you help me? And then they say yes, you can't really be mad in the way they help you. Does that sound maybe right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's a line there, right?
There's a line. I think clarity and transparency is the biggest thing that in 2021 businesses have to focus on. Transparency, especially like in the coaching space. Before you sign up for a $9,800 program, it's group coaching, like you don't really know what's going on. Like that way of business I think is dying. And now, like businesses have to be much more transparent with, what they're selling. And so, to a fault, like, yeah, you can't be mad, but you also should know what the fuck you're buying. Like,
yeah. And I think that even the statement just goes in general, not just in coaching, is that if you're going to have somebody help you and you trust them, right? I think that your
Right.
statement
That's
is
the biggest thing right there. If you trust them. Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
because even if somebody's going to push you, they're trying to get you through the pain to get to the next level.
Absolutely.
Right. So let's take that pressure, the impact of poor decisions or good decisions, or acknowledging there was a time in your life where you probably had a pressure that said, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. And that was where your good or bad decisions started. And what was the first, what was your first experience in that?
Yeah, just the story of just how I got into entrepreneurship in general is, eh, I don't know, it's a funny one to me because it's kind of like common sense, right? So when I was in college, I my senior year I got a full-time job offer to work at like a railroad company, and it was great. It was cool. Like, they offered me 60K coming out the gate. I'm 21 years old. I'm like, I'm making 60K. I'm making more than all my friends. Like, what you mean? Like,
Trains are cool too.
he said, well, yeah, and trains, I've actually love, Tommy the Train, like choo, choo, choo. Like, right.
Yeah.
And so from there, I went to go take a physical. And so during this physical, I was under the assumption that I was just going to be taking a drug test and height and weight, and then I was going to bounce. And so I went up there and I took the drug test, but it wasn't just a drug test. It was like a drug test, a hearing test, a colorblind test, a hearing test. Like, yeah, they really had me like tested, And so I just mentally really wasn't prepared for it. And so after I do all that, I come back home, chill. A week or two goes by, and I wake up one morning and I get an email from the company. It says, "Hey, Kevin, unfortunately, we have to revoke our offer because you have failed one of our tests." And I was like, "What? This not real. Let me go check my computer because maybe my phone is like tripping, And so I check my computer and yeah, it says it, so I'm like, I'm just so confused. And then 5 minutes later I get a call from one of the directors. She's telling me, oh, hey Kevin, just to let you know, you failed our colorblind test. And have you ever took a colorblind test, Jason?
I haven't, man.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's imagine like like a palmlet, hand palmlet book, and there's corresponding colors and patterns that are in it. And then there's a number or a letter or a symbol that's hidden in those corresponding colors, so you can just be able to tell. And so I'm just going through it, 7, 11, 2, 5, 7, 6. All right, bet. Cool. We done? All right, thanks. And so she says, yeah, you feel like colorblind test. You missed 2. You can only miss 1. And so we had to revoke the offer. I was like, I wasn't even taking that for real, bro. Like, what you mean? Like, I can take it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's nah, sorry. We have to revoke it. And so I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
dude,
first
like,
one, you're not getting the position, and then 2, you're like, now I got to go find out what's wrong with me. Like,
but the thing is, I'm not colorblind. Like, I just wasn't paying
oh, you
attention.
weren't even colorblind.
Yeah, I just wasn't
Man.
paying attention. Like, dude, like when I tell you, and that's why I like explain, like, I wasn't paying attention. Like,
Yeah, I got it.
I was literally just like, I was not prepared to do all of that. And so, like, I was just like, dude, I just want to get out of here, bro. Like, whatever. Like, I don't care about this. Okay, here. And so, yeah, like, because of my lack of detail, like, I failed that hoe. And so, yeah.
Wow. And that,
Yeah.
you know what? That's looking back, that's some really good clarity. Like, I failed something that made me somebody that I'm not at all from
Right.
information that's not even true.
Right, dude. So like,
So that
yeah,
created a sense for you that you recognized in your personal life that you're just running through life. Is that kind of what you were feeling?
not really, dude. Like, I mean, I wish, I feel like that would have been much more motivational to think like that. But I was just like, fuck, bro. Like, damn, that's like really fucked up. Like, and I had a corporate internship before, so I had a corporate internship that summer. So I graduated in December. So that summer, a couple months ago, I had a corporate internship, and so I kind of saw how the corporate world was like ran, and I just wasn't really a big fan of it. Like I just wasn't really a fan of just having like a 50-year-old white male boss. Like I just was just like I'm good off it, and so yeah, when they revoked the offer, I was like, fuck, dude, like man, that shit sucks. Looked on them for a couple more jobs. I don't even know what I was looking for. And then I was just like, you know what? I Googled how to make money online, you know? And I just went through a couple articles and I just was reading. And then I found out about this one thing. It was
Hey,
called
Google, stop. My Google Home, when you said how to find money online,
oh,
it started giving
wow.
me an answer.
That's hilarious. Whoa, that's funny. She's already ready.
Sorry, I didn't understand. Anyways, so go ahead. So you went on there, you were online. I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah. So I looked up how to make it online and yeah, it just showed me a bunch of things. And then I found out about affiliate marketing. And so I was just like, okay, yeah, you get paid for selling other people's stuff. Oh, that's cool. Like I technically don't have to have a business. I just got to like find people to buy their shit. And then I find out about high ticket affiliate marketing. That's when I was like, oh, this shit is dope. Like I can sell this thing for $5,000 and get a commission of $2,000, and I don't have to do nothing. I just got to send them over there. Sign me up. And so, yeah, I signed on with this like affiliate marketing company, and like, imagine me at 21 years old, and I had to pay I had to buy the actual rights to sell their stuff, and so I had to pay like 15, like I think I paid like 18 or 20K plus, like. And so, yeah, so you can imagine, like, as a 21-year-old, like, bro, where am I going to find $21,000? Like, where? Like, how? And so I searched high and I searched low. And I basically found a financing company to help me get a friend of mine approved. And so a friend of mine took the risk with me. And he was just like, yeah, dude, this shit makes sense. Like, cool. Like all I gotta do is do this, and like it's not my own money too. It's just like a finance bet. Let's do it. He's like 22-year-old too, so like we're both just like whatever. So yeah, I did
Sky's the
it.
limit, right? At that
Yeah,
point.
exactly. At
Yeah.
that point, it was like fuck it. So yeah, we did it. Um, Ended up moving back to Houston, and I ended up doing like okay with the company. Like like I made money with it, and I just understood how affiliate marketing worked, but the thing was I had to learn how to advertise because obviously I could just come up to you, Jason, and be like, hey, Jason, you want to buy this, $25,000 product? No. So I had to, so understanding how affiliate marketing works is kind of like just like MLM, it's kind of like a pyramid. And so you have people that, you sign up, they're above you, people below you, etc. So the person that was in my downline fortunately reached out to me. He was like, hey, dude, I saw you just signed up for my shit. Like, obviously the more successful you are, the more successful I will be. So, I can low-key like show you like how to make sales. Obviously, I just spent $21,000. I'm like, bro, you could teach me how to tie a fucking shoe. Like I'm listening. Like, like come on. And so he taught me Facebook ads.
Okay.
So he taught me how to do Facebook advertising. And so when he taught me that, I was like running ads and getting. This is like 2000. I'm 27, so this is like 2015. 2000. Yeah, it's about 2015, 2016. So Facebook ads is not what Facebook ads is today. Like it's like this was like the wild, wild west. Like, you say, buy this for free and you got everybody signing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I was making, it was cool. I
You
was
were getting
making,
like half cent and 1 penny.
yeah, bro. Like, it's the cost per purchases was like $4 on the average, like life was good back then, And so, yeah, I had some success with it and it was cool. And then from there, the company ended up getting shut down because it was a scam because like they weren't fulfilling like the stuff that we were selling. So it was like this whole ordeal. People was committing suicide. It was like a whole crazy thing. And so yeah, dude, it was nuts, bro. And so
That's a lot. That's a lot to take in. Watching a company collapse as you go in, and there's like,
dude, what? It was crazy, bro. It was crazy. And so I was just like, yeah, I don't know about affiliate marketing anymore, but I understood ads. That was like so since I understood ads, I was just like, I feel like I can just like run ads for people, like why not? Like I did it for myself. Why can't I just do it for somebody else? And then like, yeah, that was like the intro to like me going into entrepreneurship
So
now.
did you do the sales for that company for the affiliate? You actually did the sales, right?
Nah, like they had their own salespeople. So I just had to get people through the funnel and then from there get people to fill out the application
So your
stuff.
job at the time was you were a traffic driver.
Yeah, literally just lead generation, just straight lead gen. Like I just get as many people to this people, and then a percentage is going to convert, and then I'm going to get a percentage of those people's commissions.
So Bernie Madoff owned the company, you're saying, and after that, it didn't work out, and so that
It's like the Fire Fest of like internet marketing companies.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? If you
Right.
think about it, it was interesting. You said something. You were like, it was really good back then. And I kind of was just thinking a minute. I was like, if you go back in 5-year periods, there actually is always an area that's just like, man, it was so good, right? It was like, somebody's saying it was so good, And so you made the transition kind of to pivot from that is that you made the transition and you added skills to your life, really. And you had gone to college. You had then seen so many ways of going out of it. You probably have some opinions about college that are different after you got out and said, I'm going to go hustle. So then what was the next move?
After college.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I was telling you the story of. Like,
no, after, I apologize. After after the company had moved forward.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah, I was just like, I can just run ads for myself, like, I'm sorry, I can run ads for other people
Yeah.
because I don't need to start my own thing. Kind of similar mindset of just like, dude, just bring people business to their stuff and they can take care of it. Like, I don't want to do that. And so, yeah, dude, I just like did so many different niches. It's like obviously hilarious looking back at it now, but yeah, man, I did like real estate agents. I did dentists, chiropractors, I don't know why, like, the thing is like when you start internet marketing is to work with dentists and chiropractors. Like I never got that. Like, is it just because like, oh, like it's just teeth, it's easy. Like I just never got it. But like, that's the thing of like, when you get in the online space to work with dentists and chiropractors.
I think that I can maybe have a reason. I think it's because those were one of the first frameworks that were created.
I
don't have that's not the answer. But if I were to use a little bit of common sense, I would probably say it's because it was the first frameworks and you have enough of them. I mean, for crying out loud, you have a dental school that's breeding new dental offices
right.
a week. So and chiropractors as well. And also maybe because your ROI on those, you can get the volume because they're repeatable. Like, hey, I got to come back to you.
Right. And then they're dentists. So they're just like, yeah, I get it.
So did you move to e-com? So then you moved to e-com, right?
Yeah. So I went to dude, I did real estate agents, I did dentist, chiropractors, I did all the way to exotic dog breeders, like
I saw that you in one of your areas you're like one of your helping serious dog breeders sell their exotic puppies through online marketing.
Through online marketing, bro. Like, yes, bro.
Was that your blue ocean?
Huh?
That was your blue ocean for sure.
Right. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna be like, this is gonna be it. Like exotic dog breeders. Psh, that shit did not work. No. And so yeah, I ended up getting so during me like getting my own clients, I ended up signing up with a partnering up with a startup ad agency based out of Boston. And so like it was pretty cool. Like, it was like 3 dudes based out of Boston, they work for Converse. And they had like their own clients, they had some like pretty big clients. And so they just need somebody on their Facebook side to like help them with the ads. And so I found them through Upwork and we just worked together, it was cool. I was getting paid like 50 plus an hour, probably made like over like, 20,000 with them over like a couple months of working together. But that really gave me like some like real fast experience, especially with e-commerce. Like I'm talking about, I was managing like 10 plus accounts, and the average spend is like 500K a month, you know? And so I was working with some 7, 8, 9 figure stores. And so I got to see like how this shit works like really fast. And so from there, like I just started focusing straight mostly on e-commerce. And then I started just media buying for other stores, and I mean for other businesses and other brands, just helping them. And then, you know, from there, things kind of slowed down with the ad agency. Then from there, we just didn't see, we had different viewpoints, so we just moved in a different direction. Still, like, you know, great companions. I still talk to them to this day, but you know, just moved different directions. And then yeah, just started working with different brands from there. And that's where I like got really heavy in the e-commerce space of having. Then I had I had an I had an ad agency, and I did that, and I ended up hating it, dude. It was like so terrible. Is because you think that's like I just want to keep running ads for da 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 da, but nah, man. And that's when I came up with the consulting agency, because I saw the issue. Because I was like, dude, like this is stupid. Like I'm trying to charge this person fucking $4,000 a month, and they're only making like 7,000, and then I need ads. I need ad money from them too. So then like now like they're looking at me like, yeah, this shit gotta work, you know, because if it don't work, if they don't make that money
Right.
back that
Just
far,
because you spend money on ads doesn't mean people are going to buy your shit.
right, right, and they don't know that. They're like, oh no, this is Facebook, so like I have a credit card, so if I pay money and I'm paying you, it should work, right? And I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. But when you are being paid as a performer, they're expecting results.
Mhm.
And that's where the frustration kept happening for me, and the friction kept happening for me. Just getting clients 1 month, 2 months, breaking up, 1 month, breaking up, 3 weeks, breaking up, not getting the results, breaking up. Like it was just became so fucking annoying, bro. And I was just like, yeah, you guys don't need an agency. Somebody needs to just show you how to do this shit.
Mm.
And if I just showed you how to do it, now you can just take that knowledge and now you can do whatever the fuck you want with it because you understand how to do it. So that's when I started like thinking of creating a consulting agency. And
Mhm.
then yeah, I did it. And then so um, now from there, just having different offers with the agency and just trying to find the best way. So now I created an accelerator. You know, it's a 12-week accelerator that we now bring e-commerce and coaches through, because you know I did coaching. And now we create the strategy for you. So now it's just like, dude, we're our team of experts. Like this is now like your instant marketing dream team for you. And we're going to create this bomb ass strategy for you. And not only we're going to go create it for you, now we're going to show you how to do it. Like we're going to show your team how to do it. So now like no one's confused. And so now like after this plan is done, you can keep working with us and we can keep showing you how to do it. Or you can just take what you have and go. Like, but either way, you're going to be better off, you
We
know?
run a similar program. Our digital growth method runs similar to that. And I always say, and it's so good to bring this statement up with you on the call, is I always tell them you can get off the train if you want.
Exactly.
I'm going to take you to a certain destination, and then there's a time when you have a choice to get off the train. So let's kind of pivot here a little bit, and let's talk a little bit about e-com. Who do you, out of that experience, it sounds like your experience is very wide, meaning someone has a $3,000 ad spend, and then now you were running some that had $500,000 ad spend.
Right.
What are some mental frameworks or the way that people should look at ads when they're a small company compared to a big company at that size? $500,000, and there's a different beast. You know,
Absolutely.
I was running $30,000 a month in my e-commerce store until I made some pivots to transfer some organic stuff at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But once you start breaking the 30 and 50 and $100,000
Yeah,
a
it's a
month,
different beast. Yeah, it's a different beast.
What are,
It's just a different, like you're saying, a different mindset, not even a different beat. It's just a different mindset. Yeah, I agree.
and you have longer, you have legs, right? For lack of better words, like
Right.
have, you can add more stages to your funnel because they're further. So who should, you know, we do it in certain areas, but in e-com, at what time should somebody start looking at running ads? Should they,
Yeah.
what's that maybe trigger that you found?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, it just really depends on the entrepreneur and their, and their budget. How much can you afford to spend? If I started an e-commerce store now, I have a bit of some leg room, to run ads. And so, but if you don't, then you should probably get some organic sales first, prove that concept, get some reviews coming in, and then yeah. But um, I would say minimum budget that somebody should have for ads, if you just really want to make a dent, is 1,000 to 1,500. And that's not me saying. And a lot of the times, I'm sure you can agree with this as well too. Like when people hear the word, "Oh, what's my budget?" They're thinking of how much can I spend without making anything back.
It's so true.
And
That
so
is
they're like, how much?
statement.
How much am I willing to spend,
Sorry.
dude? No, dude, you're good. You're cool. Good. And that's why I was like, I know you, like, I already know you're gonna agree with me, dude. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
What am I willing to lose? Which is
Right,
what I'm going to call a budget.
right. Literally, like, it's like tit for tat, dude. Like, why do you think that is? Do you think it's just lack of knowledge?
I think it's just lack of trust. I mean, it's like, I'm going to give you this money. In the majority of these situations, that you don't know the person very well and you don't know Facebook very well. So really you're going, I have no control.
Right,
Right. And so the only thing that I think people have control of is, I did not get any sales. And that is something that I think people can attach to very quickly. I did not get sales. That's a very easy statement to complain about. I don't want to say
right,
complain, but that's just it's just a low hanging fruit. So if you drive backwards a little bit, what would that next question be? Right. It'd be like, if they were a little bit more articulated in that, it might be like, how many people did we drive to the sales page? Right.
right.
And then from there, you
Exactly.
can articulate. Now, if somebody has the ability to dive in, then they're going to then start asking questions about the sales page and the price and everything like that. I think maybe you would agree with this, is it's almost like gambling to some people, ads are.
Perfect. And that's where I talk about them having a credit card and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm paying for ads now. Like my store should be, well, this isn't working. Facebook ads don't work." Ma'am, you spent 150. Like what? Like what do you mean? Like your average order value is 250. You spent $150, man. What do you mean? Like it's, yeah, for sure.
I
I
think
definitely agree.
I think e-commerce is an amazing space because it's scalable. What's one of
Right.
one of the funniest products you've ever seen?
Um, man, some funny products that I've just seen people just like really just looking to like have this idea, and me as a marketer, and this was before, the biggest thing, Jason, that I think I've really grown to be through my experience of working with different people is acknowledging that they're hiring me to be their coach, their leader, and tell them yes or no. Before I would get clients and I know the answer, but they're like, no, I want to do it like this. And me saying, okay, well, that's the way you want to do it. Like, I'll try to adapt. And then the shit doesn't work. And then they look at me. And so products like that, like,
I see what you're saying. Like, it's true. That is true. It's how do you put that into play? I think that what people don't recognize is that they really don't even know who you are. They really don't. And they really don't. And I think that there's this area where when you're playing really small, and I think it's like you want to feel more important to people, but you realize you have to get in front of more people to find those people that give a shit about you. And I think that's kind of hard for people to think. When I started my e-commerce business, I had purchased it off of someone else that had a system which allowed me to really scale quickly. And I remember when I took that company over, and I'll probably tell the story a few times as I go through this podcast, but ultimately, I remember just walking in, and the relationships that they had with the vendors were terrible. Like, they were just horrible. And when the vendors are bad, you really don't have any leverage to really help the customer in dire need. When the person's in bad shape, if you have a vendor non-relationship, they can't pull the plug for you. They can't send, hey, I'm going to overnight it to you. Hey, I'm going to fix it for you. You have no relationships. So when I went in, I made a decision that I told all the staff, I was like, I don't give a shit about the customers right now. And they looked at me and they're like, are you out of your mind? I said, I'm not so much saying screw the customer. I said, let's just back off on all the emotional problems they have. And let's just go see if we can take that energy and fix the vendor. Because I know that if I can fix the vendor and the relationships, I can get them to support us fixing our customer problems. Instead of me trying to just be that one.
To be that one person to do it all. Exactly.
And you get that backing of your vendor, right? And I thought that was like so important. And I think that that's something that you're bringing up about relationships. Facebook now has only 5,000 friends that you can have. Well, there's 220 million people. Let's just use the United States. You only get 5,000. And I think that, we're going to, if you consider that's your neighborhood,
Exactly.
So I thought I'd make another shift for you. One, I'm gonna transition into this, the cover photo on your cover, and I'm gonna say this. Wouldn't you agree that Thailand has the best street t-shirts anywhere?
Dude, oh my gosh, what? Oh my gosh, dude, yes. Thailand was such a great trip. I love Thailand, man. Thailand, I'm just so appreciative that I went to go to that place.
Yeah, it is. So I was going to say this, and I think you've been there. I haven't been there, but it has been a driving spot for entrepreneurs for a while. Everybody used to talk about Ibiza, which they probably will, which is kind of a wild trip. But Tulum, you've been to Tulum?
Tulum, Mexico. Yeah, dude. Oh man, Mexico's my shit. Yeah.
So why are entrepreneurs being drawn there, do you think?
So cheap, dude. Like, have you been to Mexico?
Well, I'm here in San Diego, and
You're right. Oh my gosh, like the value of your dollar is so much better. Like the peso compared to a dollar, I think it's like 19 to 1, 18 to 1, 18 to 20 to 1, like around that. So I mean, yeah, man, like it's great. Everything's cheaper there. The quality of food is higher. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the biggest misconception is like the crime, because like, yeah, like, oh yeah, you go to Mexico, you're gonna be getting kidnapped. Yeah, okay, yeah, you can obviously, like, we've seen people come into schools and shoot. Like, what? Like, what you mean? Like, you're worried about you going out being safe. And meanwhile, you're not worried enough about like your cousin like going to school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's happening here. I'm not hearing about that in Mexico. So
yeah.
I'm not hearing about that in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? They looking at us.
They're having some shootings out there though, pretty much.
No, for sure. I'm not. This is not me saying like Mexico is just a safe.
I know. I'm just razzing. I think Mexico's incredible. I guess my question is, why are people migrating to Tulum? What is it about this environment that people are coming together?
To Tulum, after going there, I get it. It's definitely like the upcoming Cancun. It's like the newest, because the biggest tourist spots usually were Cabo, Cancun, like Cabo, Cancun. And now for Tulum to be a 90-minute drive away, it's like whoever's taking care of Tulum, like the tourist wise, like it's growing so much popular. It's heavy. I think the worst thing about Tulum is what's really holding them back is like their seaweed problem. It's like really bad.
Mm.
Like, yeah, the seaweed there is like really bad. So I think that's like their biggest main problem, like especially for expansion. But yeah, man, like they're developing their tourist stuff so much of it.
It just seems retreat driven.
Exactly. Yeah, it's real, but like it's a lot better than Cancun because Cancun is like it's so touristy, like it's almost becomes unenjoyable. Like being everywhere you turn, someone asking to do something for you or to get you to go somewhere for money. And Tulum being much more, it's kind of like imagine Cancun being LA and Tulum being San Diego.
So I think that I think people, as this pandemic starts to open up, I think people are going to do more of those type of things. And I think where people are, I think that there's this separation, maybe it's coming together, but there's this interesting thing that and maybe you're noticing this too, but it's almost, there was this phase of separation that the internet gave you. It was almost like when you got on the internet, AOL was almost like, oh, we can just look at this stuff. It's super slow. And then all of a sudden the internet because transactions were e-commerce driven, they weren't very communication driven. And now we got Facebook, LinkedIn, then it was drive as many people into there. What do you think that's happening in business where people are coming back to those organic relationships? What are the things that people are yearning, do you think?
I think because of COVID, now that we were forced to stay inside, now that everything's coming back up, we're much looking for those now organic, actual relationships. I'm looking for a reason now to come out the house, and that makes me want to build a community, within myself, for my family, my friends, etc. So I think that's a really strong reason, especially now, that the pandemic is, lightening up in more places now.
Yeah, I think that sense of community, and I think it's just people want to connect, and I think people also realize like actually helping people, and you see a lot of this mentality like in Thailand and things like that. There's just that natural connecting with people,
Right.
come over, let me, would you like to go get coffee? Just having that kind of feeling. I noticed in one of your videos, this was hilarious, and I did start laughing. I think I thought I'd get your opinion on this, but you did a video of redoing MTV Cribs.
Yeah.
And you were hilarious. You'd made a comment in there and blah, blah. It was funny. It was a funny thing. What do you think it is about MTV Cribs back in the day that made that such a hit? And I think it was like, if I could be this, like, and I always, when I go into a house, I always say it still. I'm like, MTV, this is an MTV Cribs.
Right, easily, yeah, dude. It's just like, it's.
What do you think MTV captured during that time period? What do you think they were doing?
The transparency of people of stardom. Like, dude, your favorite. You get to see how your favorite rapper actually lives. Like, what? Your favorite singer, your favorite movie star? How, like, hell yeah. Like, and of course, they're going to make it even more extravagant. So, like, just makes it that much better. Like, oh, man, I know, like, some people would be, oh, man, I can lay in rest to know what J-Lo's bedroom looks like. Like, wow, like, my day is fulfilled. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Maybe it's making them people.
What do you mean?
Just making them human. Like,
oh, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Making celebrities human. Exactly. Facts. I agree.
So you had a statement that was back there. You said, recently I've been reading older books because I remembered how impactful the book was at the time. What were maybe some books or type of books that statement?
Dude, yeah, man. A book that I've probably read like 3 times now is The One Thing by Gary Keller. Have you read that book before?
I have not.
Dude, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's so good, man. Basically, it just talks about like a lot of the times that we focus on, doing a whole task list of things to do. But really, if you ask yourself, what's the one thing that I could do to make this easier and make everything else like, pretty much irrelevant that I could do. And so like once you start to ask yourself that one question, about different areas of your life, your business, it now creates a much greater pattern of thinking. So instead of saying, okay, well, what's the one way that I can make, um, instead of thinking, man, I want to make $10,000 from my e-com store this month, now your question is, well, what's the one thing I could do, like, just to get as many sales as possible to my store, where if I just did this one thing, like everything else would be pretty much easier, and like I wouldn't even need to do it, like, and it just, man, like you're thinking, you just start thinking so much bigger, like you're not thinking of in the weeds anymore, because you're just essentially thinking of a possibility, and those possibilities, one of them, it just could work because you're like, well, if I could do this, well, what else would I need to do that? Well, I just would need to do this and do that. And then, well, if I just needed to do that and do that, well, then to do that, I'll just need to do this. Like, just be of reaching for that possibility, dude. It's like, yeah, it's definitely helped me to just become a lot more focused instead of trying to like focus and pulling all these levers. Now focusing on okay, hey, like, what's the one thing we really need to be focusing on to like really reach our goal?
And I think that especially when you deal with e-com, you use that one thing is also like, let's just do one test.
Right.
Just one. And I guess going into e-com, as you're doing tests through e-com, what are you finding some of the smallest move that people can actually get some traction? Like, what would be that thing that they need to do? Is it copy?
Testing offers.
Yep.
It's the offer itself is the biggest thing, dude. Like, it's crazy how much when people come to e-com and they feel like, oh, well, all I need to do is just say, hey, buy this now at 10% off. And if you slice your wrists and, write your name in blood, we'll give you an extra 10% off for 20. Like, dude, like nobody cares about your discount anymore. Like now, like what's in it for me? And so now just thinking of
that was good. Nobody cares about your discount anymore. That was
good.
Without context, I think what you're saying.
Exactly. Thank you for clearing that up for me. Yes, without context, nobody cares about your discount. Exactly. And so now, if you can give me a discount with an offer, now like it makes it more enticing. Hey, get this, get our, this is only one of 100 canvases made, and we're giving this canvas away. And if you get our canvas, now, then we'll give you this, lamp for, 30% off at checkout, but only like today. Is like, and so now you're like, oh shit, like, yeah, like it's a one-on-one, 1 out of 100 canvas, like, and it's, speaking to me like that, like, let me get some action and go towards it, instead of just saying, hey, our canvas is 10% off, like, get it. Okay, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna just put my email in and just wait for some more coupons.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that also just a discount cheapens what you sell.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
So there was
now you're on this brand to just give you discounts after discount.
Exactly. You become a swap meet, basically, of products that you put out there.
You become a swap meet easily.
So there was like these shifts. And I'm going to go back in how e-commerce was ran for a long time. There was these openers of when things changed. And what I mean by that is that when we would sell items online for a lot, there was always the friction in the one click that wasn't there, meaning like automated credit card numbers, things like passwords weren't there. And when we would sell a lot, we would get people to the end, but we really couldn't see what happened. And now we can see those things. What are some things that you see are barriers of people making decisions to buy or not to buy? Because that, for us, one of the things when we would drive that much traffic to, one of the small reasons that they wouldn't purchase, we would have to get over them actually going and getting their wallet in the other room. Then we would have to deal with them having to maybe speak with their daughter. Now their daughter says, hey, I have a, can you help me with my homework? And then you leave, and you would have won that product from that person, but they had moved their human pattern to a different focus.
Right, focus. Absolutely.
What are some things that have changed in e-commerce that made it easier for people to buy? Or what were some of those things that you think just made it easier?
Dude, Amazon, bro. Amazon changed the game, bro, with the one buy click, bro. What? Oh my gosh. The Amazon one buy click, bro, is like easily like one of the oh my god, it's easily one of like the craziest things I've seen in e-commerce, bro. Like literally just like put everything in cart and like just buy, or not even everything in cart, like literally just pick it, buy, like, and it's there, like it's it, like no card info, like no nothing, like it's on the way. And we taking the money out, like, yeah, it's done, like, man. So I think a lot of people had to adapt to that for sure. Still adapting, yeah, that one by
that's only because they actually hold your credit card information.
Right. Exactly.
Have you found it difficult to get small businesses not on Amazon to be able to have that kind of feature?
No, so I see what you're saying now. So now we're talking about. I thought we were just talking about just like in general game changers for general. So now talking about smaller stores, I think just like creating a lot less friction. I think a lot of businesses, a lot of e-commerce stores, they overcomplicate it because they have one, so many options, and then two, they try to do so many upsells and downsells, and they just overcomplicate the process. So the biggest thing I think is just the simplicity of it. Like you have a simple checkout, you have your testimonies, you have your reviews, you have your security patterns, and that alone now is going to let people feel comfortable now using their autofill now to just fill out, because now everybody has it on their phones now for autofill now, so just making that process a lot smoother and a lot easier for the customer at the end of the day. I think that is the biggest thing that is from having a profitable store from a non-profitable store, that process right there at the end.
Yeah, I remember we just would sit there and I remember, because my original background really was a sales background. I just remember in my mind looking at all those people, I'm like, why aren't they buying? And then I kept thinking they got to go get their credit cards like that.
Right.
Like that. And I remember when it was if they could just have one click with trust, man, we would be killing it.
Right.
It was
Exactly.
crazy. Like when they did that, it was just that simple. You're right. It was just you would buy it. You wouldn't go and have any pattern interrupts, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
One of the things you had said a little bit ago is that you had hit one of your largest months ever. And I had made a note here on exactly what you had said. In April, we had one of the highest months in revenue ever, and that includes Black Friday sales. I thought this was a really interesting conversation, and I think you probably could talk a little bit about this. People don't always make all their money in e-commerce in the same every month. There's seasons to this.
Yeah, seasons for sure.
And I thought I'd just get a little bit more context behind, you did hit your biggest month, but what does that mean to other people of why you said that includes Black Friday sales? Like, why would you separate?
Right. Yeah. Because you already know where this is going. Yeah, for sure. Transparency is my biggest thing, and I would never want to think that's like the real knows, and so if I'm saying, oh yeah, like we got our biggest numbers in November, like just whatever, without acknowledging that, like because you're in e-commerce, and so you're just like, I see what he's trying to do, like it's no reason to do it, and so I think it's just it's an education thing for people who don't understand that. And so they're not just thinking it's just like, oh, a regular month, like this guy's just killing it. They have understanding that it's Black Friday, and also acknowledge the transparency. And so on the other side, it's not like people are like looking out to judge for me, but as you're bringing it up, like it's that check not of like, yeah, okay, like, yeah, he's a transparent guy, like, for sure.
And Black Friday is like an interesting time, right?
So
Because
it's a Super Bowl for e-commerce. Like that's easily what I call it every year. It's a Super Bowl for e-commerce. Like, I think e-com brands should at least have two huge days of the year. I think for the brand that I'm working with right now, theirs is the 4th of July because they're a military company, a military owned and operated company. And so there's 4th of July and Black Friday. I think Amazon has Amazon Day, Black Friday, like there should be two like huge days, like, for your company, including one of them should be Black Friday. The other one obviously should be whenever, but like it should at least be two.
what percentage of sales are you noticing that come from Black Friday throughout a year in annual revenue total?
And that's a really good question that I don't have an answer to because I just haven't looked at analytics like that. If I were just to guesstimate, let's say if a company's doing $1 million in a year, I would say at least Black Friday would at least make up about like, just like, not even just Black Friday, but let me just go with Black Friday in the holiday period, at least like a solid 30%, like at least a solid 30. At least a solid 30%, dude. Like, yeah.
That's what I was thinking, man. And I think that what I was bringing out in this, and I think I'm going to see if I can connect some dots here, and maybe some people can connect this that are listening to this, is like when Black Friday comes around or July 4th comes around, and what you're sharing is pick 2 days that are going to be your big days. It doesn't matter what they are. Now they'll be relevant to the people you're selling to, I guess, that there's
right, exactly, right.
But I think what you're sharing is that you create 2 times a year that you hyper focus promotion.
Right.
And you take your whole organization and they all know that they're on the train to go and literally go do this one thing. We have one promotion. That's all we're focused on. Everybody from the stock boy to the accounting, they all know that this is a big push.
Right.
So it's probably healthy for your team as well, where you can reunite them as a team and get them to like get some major victories throughout the year. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, dude, I never thought of it like that, but like that makes hella sense, man. Like, yeah, I mean, because everybody knows like July 4th is like it's time, like it's focus time. Everybody knows like Black Friday like was grind time. Like this is it. Like this is what we've been working for. Like, like this is it. It's such a crucial, like it's a very crucial part to companies' annual goals. Like for sure is those holiday Black, especially, and let's even just count out like if you just have one Black Friday. Like Black Friday is a huge chunk of what e-commerce stores. It can literally make or break an e-commerce store.
Big time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. In e-commerce, it's an interesting journey in e-com. What are some of the frameworks of how, or let's say business structures? I was sharing with you that we had, an 8,000 square foot facility, and we had the racks, and we were shipping just so many pairs of sunglasses. It was wild, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the operational structures that you're noticing on, let's say, is it drop shipping? Are you noticing people bringing stuff in house? Are you noticing more people doing Amazon?
More so, like, to answer your question, Jason, I think a lot of the things I'm really noticing now is having U.S. vendors. Because essentially you can still do drop shipping, but the issue with drop shipping is the timing. Like no one wants to wait fucking 20 to 30 days for a product. Like I don't even remember if I bought it anymore,
That's
and
true.
So a lot of people now are having to really move to US vendors to do their drop shipping. And so now they can still have the luxury of not having the stuff in-house, but now they have, there's a lot more US vendors I think now are popping up because they know the issue. They know that drop shipping is it's a great business model, but it's dying because of that timing, and it's cheap quality. And so now you're getting
So
better
what you're
quality.
saying to kind of, I'm sorry to cut you off. I just thought it was a really
Yeah,
good.
please. No, yeah.
So what you're saying is like the drop shipping has, because you can attach yourself to any product, there's not a lot of quality driven to it.
Right.
No emotion connection to the product.
Absolutely.
And then as you're saying, they're starting to have US vendors. What do you think the cost basis are going to affect these people? Do you think that they're going to move towards a more of a branding type than a product driven?
Right. And that's what now I'm noticing, because you have to, because you're working with a vendor now. And so like, yeah, like I'm saying a lot more drop shipping brand focused, stores now, because yeah, the everybody's becoming a lot more smarter and educated, including the buyer. And so the buyer is now starting to notice a drop shipping website compared to a brand driven website. And so now the days of having fucking 100 items on your store and you just being super profitable, they're dwindling down. It's not me to say that they're dead, because somebody could be making money, but they're definitely dwindling down from what they used to be.
And what you're talking about is more or less a category driven, full product, push is being more,
Right.
is driving more towards a few specific products that are going, moving it over. Where do you think in e-com, and I'll bring up Gary V here, but he had released his wine, and I think that I saw this in like Home Goods or anything like that, and it just would say wine. There was
right.
no. Where do you think that where do you think that this new concept of just kind of no brand, just pure
It's the minimalist type of thing. Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, I think who was it that did that? They did that with food. Was it Whole Foods?
Yeah. Nah, I think I was low key. I think I was reading an interview about this, or about the guy who just like, it's like, he's naming like it's just the type of brand that just like labels what they have. Yeah, no, dude, I think it's just like the minimalist type of, look, it's a minimalist type of, it's a certain type of people who are buying that, those are the people who, not even going to say super organized, but I would, it's up to date. A mom with 4 kids is not buying that, but the couple that lives in LA, that has a $4,200, it's $4,200 a month rent, balling or whatever. I don't know. I know LA is expensive, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah, they're buying that, because it's cool, it's minimalist, So I think it's more so just like where the trend is going. Like, it just looks cool, and those type of people are buying it. But those are definitely like I said, the mom of 3 kids is not buying a box that says cereal. Like, nah, like her kids need to see like Captain Crunch.
Yeah. Well, and when it comes to your kids and it comes to people around you, you probably want to hear what the value proposition is of the product. You not psychologically, you're not thinking that, but you're kind of going, tell me why I should give this to my kid, or tell me why I should have this in my body. You're looking for the actual copy to tell you.
Right. Exactly. The kids just want to see the cartoons. Like, I got to have something to entertain myself.
Well, actually, it was really funny you say that. I was talking about, we were talking about transformations of kind of using the transformation in marketing in the avatar and things like that. And we were just talking about Captain Crunch. And I was like, when you look back and the ones that you would buy that you were, I guess, drawn to, they're always like, you wanted to be that guy, right? It's like, oh, when I become Lucky Charm.
Right. I feel you, right.
Those were like good times. Like, you bought your cereal for the type of person that you were.
That's hilarious. Yeah, have the tricks get messed up with the kids.
Yeah, man, that was it. So what's the next move for you, man? What is you've now taken a few different steps. You've learned obviously some skills that are there that you take with you. You have a lot of clarity, I can tell, in kind of what you're doing. What's this look like for you? Where did you model
Yeah,
up?
man, for sure, dude. Like the biggest thing now is just continue to grow, man, ethically and in proportion. I know it used to be, obviously, it still might be, it's just depending who you are, but I know the biggest thing I was noticing in the coaching industry was people going from, 10K to 100K, and 40K to 200K a month, and I can only imagine like what their fulfillment system for their clients would be like, and it would have to be shit. Like, there's no way that you're prepared to go from
Mhm.
10K to 100K and have some sustainability and have client fulfillment. Like there's no way. And so that's the biggest thing now. I'm focusing on the scaling, but also, obviously, yeah, we'll have fires and, things like that. What business doesn't? But, to at least have a higher than 70, 80, client retention, happiness, success rate, and yeah, do continue to scale, man. It's funny. Like I love and I really appreciate that. Definitely put a smile on my face of how you said, like, I sound confident of where I'm going. And honestly, Jason, like we just made this like accelerator in March. Like we just made it in March, and it was just like me and I had one full-time employee, and she's my VA, and I had like an ads guy who was helping me with ads. And like now we've grown to like I got 7 people on the team now. We're all dialed in on how this accelerator is going to flow when a client jumps in. Everybody just knows how to do their part, and it gives me confidence that they have confidence. And so now all I'm looking to do now is just continue to fucking feed this beast with clients and people, and slowly begin to now work myself out of the day-to-day. I'm in the process of now of hiring a operations coordinator, so now she can help me with the fulfillment. So now I don't have to worry about what's going on inside the business. I really can just focus my mindset on sales. Like, let me just literally do nothing but sales and have this machine. And then from there, slowly replace me with sales, and go on and so forth and so forth. So where now I can have a profitable 7-8 figure business, going without me having to touch it.
Well, Kevin, this was awesome, man. I'd love to have you on again. And just your vibe, man, is super cool. You're highly intelligent and you just come across really well, man. I appreciate your time. And everybody that watches here, where can they find you?
Yeah, man, like I said, man, thank you for having me on, man. I knew it was going to be like a pretty epic show, dude. So, yeah, best place to find me is going to be on Instagram. I'm most active on there. My IG is It's Kevin Joseph. That's just ITS Kevin Joseph. And from there, if you're looking to actually get more information about my consulting agency, you can just go to cmoinabox.co, not .com, .co. So cmoinabox.co. We can help you out there.
I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much.
Man. Thank you, man. Have a good one, dude.
If you like this episode, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just like Nike is to athletes, Moved is to entrepreneurs.